Welcome to Connected Through Change. Men supporting menopause, two voices, one journey. Your host is Russell Betts, author of the international best-selling book, The Good Husband's Guide to Menopause, and founder of the Connected Through Change movement. Each week, you'll hear both the men's and women's perspectives, so you can understand what's really happening beneath the surface and learn how to stay steady, supportive, and connected through one of life's biggest transitions. If you want clarity, confidence, and a stronger relationship during menopause and beyond, you're in the right place. Let's begin.
Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. It's great to have you all here today. If you've been tuning in, you'll know that we've been exploring some of the deeper issues surrounding menopause and how it affects not just women, but their partners as well. Last time, we touched on some of the struggles men face during this transition. But today, I want to dive into a really intriguing phenomenon: your kitchen, your space, and why you might find yourself absolutely struck dumb there. I mean, who hasn't stood in front of a fridge and just stared, right? It's a moment where words just seem to evaporate. So let's unpack that a bit. You are a woman who knows how to move through the world. Whether you are navigating a boardroom, managing a team, or holding the emotional architecture of your family together in a crisis, you are recognized for your precision. People look to you because you can identify a problem, find the right words for it, and construct a bridge toward a solution. You are articulate. You are self-aware. You have likely spent years in the pews of personal development, and yet, in your own kitchen, or lying 3 inches away from your partner in the dark, you are frequently struck dumb. You find yourself in those moments where you can feel something, a weight, a shift, a specific kind of coldness, but when you open your mouth to describe it, your voice falters. You reach for the tools you've always used, but they feel like they've turned to sand in your hands. You know exactly how to speak everywhere else. But here, in the space between you and the person you love most, you find yourself saying, "Never mind. It's fine. Forget it." If you have been feeling a growing sense of frustration, or maybe a deep bone-weary fatigue from these moments, I want you to take a breath. There is a specific kind of internal pressure that builds when you are a highly capable person who suddenly feels incompetent in your most important relationship. You start to wonder if you're losing your edge. You wonder if you've actually been bad at communication all along, despite what your professional life tells you. But what if the silence isn't a lack of intelligence? What if the reason you can't find the words is simply that the words for what you are experiencing haven't been given to you yet? It is common to believe that if we are smart enough and we care enough, we should be able to explain what's happening. But you are trying to navigate a sprawling, complex emotional forest with a map that has the "You Are Here" sticker missing. You know you're a time somewhere. You can feel the dampness of the air and the unevenness of the ground. But because that somewhere has no name, you cannot tell anyone how to find you. It's not a failure of your intellect. It's a vacancy in the language. I remember a time not long ago when I tried to say something supportive while my partner was just overwhelmed with, let's call it a hot flash moment. I ended up saying something completely off-mark, like, "Just breathe it out." And she looked at me like I had just suggested she climb Mount Everest. It's so easy to get caught in those moments, so vulnerable, right? We really want to help, but that desire can sometimes backfire. How can we navigate that? I think it's worthwhile to talk about creating an environment where both partners feel safe to express themselves. Perhaps that means setting some expectations during those kitchen moments, where the conversation is laid out before anything happens, like, "Hey, If things get tense, can we agree to just take a breather before making any big decisions? That way, there's a clarity that perhaps eases some of the pressure. What do you think? Does that resonate with you? When we feel the distance growing, we tend to reach for the words we have available. Words like lonely, or disconnected, or unseen. The problem is that these words are thin. They are generic. Using them to describe the reality of your midlife relational experience is like trying to describe a cathedral using only the word building. It's technically true, but it misses the entire point. It misses the vaulted ceilings, the stained glass, the way the light hits the floor at 4 p.m., and the echoing silence of the halls. When you say, "I feel lonely," and your partner points out that you just spent the entire weekend together, you have no rebuttal. Within the world of the word lonely, he is factually correct. You were in the same room. You ate at the same table. You watched the same movie. But you also know that the togetherness felt like two people standing on opposite sides of a thick pane of glass. You could see him, but you couldn't feel his heat. You were together, but the air between you was dead. Because you don't have a precise name for that glass, or for the specific brand of isolation that occurs when two people are speaking the same language but living in different worlds, you eventually give up the effort of translation. Reflection prompts can be powerful here. One suggestion could be to take a moment each evening, maybe while prepping dinner, where both partners share how they felt throughout the day. Trust me, it doesn't have to be formal. It could just be a casual check-in. But that small act of connection can do wonders for keeping that kitchen vibe collaborative rather than combative. How can we implement that practically? What's the first step towards such a change? This is what I call the never mind tax. It is the silent withdrawal of your true self because the cost of translation has become too high. Every time you start a sentence, realize it's going to take 4 hours of explaining and that you'll probably still be misunderstood, and then decide to just tuck that feeling back into your pocket. You are paying the tax. The tax is paid in small increments. A. Never mind in the car. A. Forget I said anything before bed. A. It's not worth the fight on a Tuesday afternoon. And after a while, you realize you are exhausted. But it's not the kind of tired that sleep can fix. This is translation exhaustion. It's the bone-weary fatigue that comes from trying to turn a visceral, lived experience into a language that hasn't been invented yet. You are doing the work of an explorer, a linguist, and a negotiator all at once, while simply trying to decide what to have for dinner. There is a ghost in the room. It isn't a person, and it isn't a mistake you made. The ghost is the unnamed experience itself. It sits between you at the table, making the air heavy and the conversation brittle. You feel it in your body long before you can think to speak. It's a tightening in the chest, a closing of the throat, a sudden, sharp desire to be in a different room. Communication experts tell you to use I statements. They tell you to just be vulnerable. But no amount of I statements can fix a lack of architectural support. You can say, "I feel," until you are blue in the face, but if the word that follows doesn't capture the vastness of the cathedral you are standing in, you will still be standing there alone. We have been taught to fear the silence. We've been told that if there is a gap, we must fill it immediately with fix-it projects or frantic explanations. We think we have to build a bridge while we are still drowning in the water. But when we rush to fill the gap with the wrong words, we actually make the distance feel more permanent. This week, we aren't fixing the bridge. We aren't even looking for the tools to build it yet. We are simply acknowledging that the reason you feel so lonely in your own story is that you have been forced to be your own sole witness. You have been carrying the weight of an experience that has no shared vocabulary. That weight, that unnamed, unshared, untranslated reality is what is breaking your heart. It's not necessarily the relationship itself that is the problem. It is the inability to be known times within it. Take a moment to let that land. You are highly articulate, yes, but you are currently unheard even by yourself because the words you've been given don't fit the life you are actually living. Stop blaming your intellect for the silence. Stop blaming your partner for not hearing a language that hasn't been spoken yet. For now, just look at the space between you. Look at the between, and allow yourself the dignity of saying, I don't have the words for this yet. And that is why I am so tired.
Thanks for joining us on Connected Through Change. Remember, it takes two voices to walk one journey, and you don't have to navigate this alone. To go deeper, grab Russell's international best-selling book, The Good Husband's Guide to Menopause. Explore the weekly blog or take the communication clarity assessment at connectedthroughchange.com. Stay steady, stay connected, and I'll see you in the next episode.